At the beginning of the scene, we see that the death of Hitler and his new wife Eva is extremely painful. Their bodies are soaked in petrol and burned in the street. This scene is heartbreaking because it also shows Hitler's last meal of his life. As soon as Hitler finishes his meal, he greets his close friends and thanks them for their loyalty over the years. Eva stands next to him, whom he has just married. Before taking his life, Hitler gives his loyal dog a poison capsule, which had been with him for 10 years. Then Hitler and Eva take poison and go to their room. There are guards outside so that no one disturbs them. The senior officers in the bunker understand what is going to happen. They try to stop Hitler, but they fail. After a while, the sound of a gunshot is heard from the room. The officers quickly reach the room. After confirming everything, they tell everyone in the bunker that Hitler is dead. Instead of burying Hitler and Eva, 2 assistants wrap their bodies in sheets and carry them out of the bunker. As soon as they place the bodies in a ditch, a Soviet shell lands nearby. Everyone rushes back into the bunker. When the explosions stop, the assistants pour petrol over the corpses. This is done according to Hitler's final order. He did not want his body to fall into the hands of enemies or anyone else. With this, the tyranny ends, one that killed millions of people and destroyed the world. At the same time, somewhere else in the bunker, a mother and her children are involved in a terrifying plan. She carefully mixes sleeping pills into fruit juice. After drinking the juice, the children will quickly fall asleep. The mother enters the room with a doctor, where her 6 children are reading fairy tales. These children are the most important part of her life. But now, what she is about to do will shock everyone. The mother gives the juice to the bravest child first. The child drinks without hesitation. One by one, the rest of the children also drink the juice, trusting their mother completely. The last child, who is the eldest, refuses. It seems she suspects something. But the mother forces her mouth open and the doctor pours the juice down her throat. Afterward, the mother tells the children to sleep. But for them, it is the beginning of a nightmare. A few hours later, the mother returns to the room. Because of the sleeping pills, all the children are in deep sleep. The mother takes out poison capsules and places one inside each child's mouth. She presses their jaws so they swallow it. When the capsule breaks, the life of a small child ends. The woman repeats the same act again and again. In the blink of an eye, the lives of many innocent children are lost because of her. As a mother, doing this to her own children might be the most painful thing she ever had to do. But no one realizes that the decision to do all this was actually her husband's. He is standing outside the room. His name is Paul Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's most loyal companion. Hitler had named Goebbels the new chancellor in his will before his death. But on May 1st, 1945, the very next day after Hitler's death, Goebbels and his wife poisoned their 6 children. Then they walked out of the bunker under the chancellery, where Goebbels first shot his wife and then himself, choosing to die at Hitler's side. How frightening can a broken person become under pressure? One day, sitting at the dining table, a man quietly takes out 2 grenades from his pocket while his family is unaware. His wife and 2 children have no idea that in a few moments, danger is coming. The man removes the pins, holds the grenades tightly and crosses his hands. After thinking for a brief moment, he pulls the pins without hesitation. After Hitler's death, many of his followers reacted in the same way. Just a day earlier, Hitler had been hearing terrible news inside his underground bunker. The Soviet army had surrounded Berlin and was advancing toward the chancellery. Everything would be under their control within a couple of days. Berlin's defense commander, Weidling, advised Hitler to leave Berlin. To defend the city, 20,000 soldiers had already been killed, and the remaining troops had neither food nor ammunition. But Hitler refused. He said that even if they escaped, they would get trapped somewhere else. So he began planning a counterattack, believing that the best defense is attack. But everything was a lie. His army was no longer capable of fighting. Soon, terrible news arrived from the front. 3 divisions sent by Hitler were surrounded by the Soviets and destroyed. Hearing this, Hitler realized that everything was finished. Quietly, he began preparing for his own end. The defense commander asked, "What if we run out of bullets?" Hitler calmly answered, "Never surrender. And if anyone does, shoot them." On April 30th, 1945, Hitler issued his final command. Then he and his wife Eva Braun poisoned themselves and committed suicide inside the bunker beneath the chancellery. He ordered that his body be burned so that no one could find it. In his will, he named Grand Admiral Dönitz the new leader of Germany. The next day in the bunker, the Goebbels family died. The Goebbels couple poisoned their 6 children and then embraced death themselves. In the next scene of the movie, we see a huge argument among the top officers of the Nazi army. Some officers believed all hope was lost and wanted to surrender immediately. Meanwhile, Hitler's loyal supporters, still following his orders, refused to surrender at any cost. The debate grew so heated that it almost turned violent. Eventually, they all decided to go their separate ways. The Nazi government, now completely defenseless, collapsed into chaos. Berlin's chief of defense, Weidling, announced through loudspeakers that no help would come. He declared that continuing the fight was meaningless and ordered everyone to lay down their weapons and stop resisting. Soon after, key members of the Nazi government, in the tunnels under the Reich Chancellery, put on civilian clothing, abandoned their weapons and fled. 2 officers refused to run. They smoked a final cigarette, returned to their room, and then gunshots echoed, making it clear they had killed themselves in loyalty to Hitler. Meanwhile, others escaped from the bunker and made it to ground shelters, where many refugees and wounded civilians lay. Doctors tried to treat the wounded, but without anesthetics, the patients screamed in agony. The scene was terrifying. Some Nazi soldiers were still fighting the Soviet army. Surprisingly, a few were even honored with medals for bravery. Some soldiers rejected the surrender order altogether. Hopeless and frustrated, they took their own lives. At the same time, SS troops began punishing citizens who refused to support the fight against the Soviet Union. Anyone helping Soviets or refusing to fight was shot immediately. After fleeing all night, the remaining Nazis managed to escape capture for a short while. Along the way, some sympathetic civilians offered them food, hoping they could still push the Soviets back. A few soldiers remained, but they were exhausted. One soldier went to his commander and reported that many of his comrades had surrendered, but he insisted on fighting alongside those who refused to give up. The commander, ready to surrender, said, "What are you talking about? Hitler is dead. Will you fight on your own?" The soldier replied that he wanted to keep his promise. Then the guards spotted through binoculars other Nazi soldiers kneeling before the Soviets. The Soviet army was only an hour away. At that decisive moment, the commander asked everyone whether they wanted to fight or surrender. One soldier suddenly said, "We surrender." The rest raised their hands in agreement. The commander turned to the soldier who still wanted to fight and asked, "Why do you want to die for no reason?" The soldier took out a poison capsule from his pocket and said, "I will not surrender. Why should innocent people suffer because of us? We brought them into this disaster." Then an officer returned from the Soviet camp and reported terrifying news. The German army had completely surrendered. Hearing this, the soldier swallowed the poison capsule and ended his life. On May 8, 1945, Germany signed the unconditional surrender that ended World War II in Europe.